And we're
Oh,
live.
oh shit, dang it. We're alive. Welcome to Lawless Podcast with Justin and Clayton. I'm Clayton. This is my best friend in life, Justin Crafton, and we are here to rock your socks off. We're coming off
We're rock
of
'em right off.
walking them. They're shooting. We both had an eventful couple weeks, and we're here to report back. We got the good news of the Lord and the universe on our side.
Dude, I can't wait to hear all your like the fact and some people might not see this. The fact that you're wearing, it looks like four, maybe five
Mm,
uh
or
four, what would you call those?
Mardi Gras
Beads of Mardi
necklaces.
Gras.
Yeah, yeah, baby.
You got the from the big one all the way down to the little bitty baby.
Did a little bitty baby one, and yeah,
And
there's
is that a Mardi Gras shirt too?
yeah, hell yeah, it is party like it's Mardi Gras, baby.
Hell yeah. All right. So you're going to have to explain this to everybody because you explained it to me the other day, and I just it didn't make sense to me. So Mardi Gras, okay?
Yeah,
Tell us about Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras is the American, I guess, like French. It is the French American version of the holiday Carnival. Carnival. You like how I said that? Carnival, not carnival.
That's true.
Carnival, which
Is that how you say it to your kids? Like you go
as
to the
it
school carnival,
going to the school
go to the
Carnival,
book
y'all.
carnival.
Dude, my kids have the week of Mardi Gras off. They're off this week.
You
Like
guys,
it is a holiday
you got
here.
yeah, you guys take it serious. But I didn't think that it was. But Mardi Gras isn't this week.
Yeah, it sure is.
When is Easter?
I don't know.
Maybe I've got the dates all confused
A
because Mardi
friend.
Gras is connected to Lent. The end of Lent is Easter, correct?
Yeah. Oh shucks. Relationship, not relationship. How would my never mind. My autocorrect said relationship.
I think it's just fucking with you.
The 40-day, okay, Mardi Gras directly related to Easter as the final celebration before the 40-day fasting season of Lent, which prepares Christians for Easter Sunday.
Okay.
So, Mardi Gras, you get all your sinning done. You get all your partying and you get your flashing and your all the debauchery out of the way before you start Lent.
Okay. And so it must be an early Easter this year.
Is April 5th. So yeah, it, Easter's April 5th. So this is kicking off Lent season. Mardi Gras kicks off Lent.
Okay.
Mardi Gras is the Fat Tuesday before. I think I said it to you wrong, and I told you it was the Fat Tuesday, or is it Tuesday before Easter time? But that can't be right because Easter's on
Yeah,
a Sunday.
so it's the Tuesday before Lent, and Lent
Yes,
is the 40 days before Easter.
Easter. Yeah, Easter is also a Nordic goddess of spring. Just so
That's
you know.
that's,
Yeah.
that's the day that's the day Jesus rose from the dead. And if you're trying to steal that, if you're trying to paganize that, then we're gonna have a problem, buddy.
I'm just saying, what came first, the chicken or the bunny egg? You know, the bunny
Yeah.
egg came first. No, Mardi Gras is the French American version of Carnival, and Mardi Gras officially started in Mobile, which was the capital of the Louisiana Territory in 1701.
Okay.
In 1701, Mobile was established as the capital of Louisiana Territory. Now Mobile's Alabama. I live in Mobile Bay. And 1703 was the first Mardi Gras celebration in North America. And so it was right Champ in Mobile.
Okay. How did it get so associated with uh oh what's the town it's associated with?
New Orleans?
New Orleans, yeah.
Well, it moved to New Orleans. Okay. Well, the first Mardi Gras in New Orleans was in 1853. So 150 years before New Orleans had it, 150 years before New Orleans had it, Mobile had it. Then it
Okay.
went to New Orleans. Um, it was. it started off as like from what I understand from my Wikipedia and Chet Chet research, it started off as like masked balls where you could go in disguise and kiss whoever and grope
Right.
whoever and get drunk.
Which, by the way, I've never felt like those masks really offer enough anonymity to do the sorts of things that they suggest you can do.
Yeah,
Like, bro,
like
you're wearing a butterfly over your eyes. I can see your face.
I know who you are.
Yeah,
Come here,
what are
not
you?
Catherine.
That's not a mask.
Um, Masked balls are still very much a thing for Mardi Gras. That's like the hoity-toity part of Mardi Gras. You see them at the parades. I haven't, this is my first Mardi Gras, so I haven't been invited to a ball, but some of my neighbors have, and it's invitation only. You cannot ask to go, you can't buy tickets, there's nothing like that. You have to be invited to a ball. So
Okay.
you have to have friends. You have to,
Who can you just invite somebody, or do you like how does who's able to invite?
once you're part of, they call them crews, but it used to be like CRUIX, the French crew.
Okay.
Um, it's a club. You have to be, yeah, once you're invited, you're a member of the club, and I think next year you can do some inviting. I think if you become a member of that club,
Okay.
my understanding. Um, well, then after that, there were parades like the Mardi Gras for the common folks. So people at the balls wear tuxedos. They wear these fancy gowns. They have their hair
They're
like
bullshit masks.
their bullshit masks. But you'll see these ladies and guys walking around like they're in the 1700s. Like the ladies got their hair all done in layers, puffed up, and they're wearing these big fancy gowns. And the guys are wearing tuxedos. They're all old fat guys. But the Mardi Gras for the common folks was the parades. They say, "Oh, we'll dish this out to the common people," and that's when I guess they started just like walking down, carrying like their farming equipment, like hoes and rakes in the air, and different posters, and then playing music and stuff. Well,
Okay.
a couple of years later, from my understanding, once it went to New Orleans in 1853, is when they really turned it up with the floats and the beads and all that. So I think the beads technically come from New Orleans.
Okay.
During the Civil War, there was a hiatus on Mardi Gras in Alabama, and in 1868, Joe Kane, a Confederate veteran, came back to Mobile and brought Mardi Gras back. And so Joe Kane is today, Sunday, the Sunday before whatever the official Mardi Gras is Joe Kane Day here in Mobile. And his someone, I guess there will be multiple people dressed up as his widow. Like there's a ghostly looking lady in like a black funeral gown with a headdress on, and she goes out and gives these black beads. Let me show you. This was thrown to me at the parade. I didn't get it from one of his wives, but it's these black Mardi Gras beads that you
Okay.
get from Joe Kane's widow, Mary.
Okay.
And I put that on my little altar here. Thought my mama would like that. Um, Yeah, so Joe Kane brought it back to Mobile after the hiatus, after Civil War, and that's when the floats came here too. And these, I mean, the only part of Mardi Gras I've experienced are the parades, and these parades are wild. I'm not talking about a 14th or a July 4th or Veterans Day parades. It's not one of them. There's uh there's these parades and people gather all around, and I went to two different parades, two very different parades this year. One was put on by the city, and it was very family friendly parade. They both were family friendly, just one less so. But they were both the city put on a parade, and there was floats and there was marching bands, and like the ROTCs was marching through there. And when these floats come by, they all throw out stuff. They're just constantly throwing stuff. The big stuff is beads, and I guess in New Orleans, there's I don't know, not the myth, but the tradition of flashing your boobies to get some beads thrown at you.
Right.
Well, I didn't see any of that. Not at either, well, not at either one of these parades. I didn't see any of that. I did.
Did
People,
you do any of that at either one of those parades?
I didn't flash my boobies, but I definitely would have if I thought it was gonna
If
get
you
me.
needed to?
Yeah, I was prepared. I was holding the bottom,
Like, nah,
but
bro, you're good. Just take them.
they throw beads. They throw toys to the kids, like these kazoos and plastic horns and tambourines. Ashley got dinged in the head by a plastic tambourine. Someone fucking saucered that thing right at her. Cling. I told her, you gotta keep your hands up, babe. Stay ready.
Yeah, yeah. You know, one of the things that I absolutely just admire about you is that everything you just said, I can see my reflection in your glasses, so I know you're
Oh,
not looking it up.
right.
You were just spouting that shit off the top of your head.
Yeah. Well, I looked it up, but
That
yeah. Oh, well, the parades, I lived it.
no, but I mean like the dates and the history and the story behind it.
Yeah, I
Like
looked at.
unless you looked it up like 10 minutes ago, that's pretty fucking impressive.
Oh yeah. I, there's things about memories. Well, ever since I was little, I don't know. I think the TVs and the books make a photographic memory, quote unquote, seem different than what it is in real life. But if it's something I care about, I will remember, like I've talked about on here, my first memories of like seeing my father in prison, and I don't think I could walk. My brother was holding me in that memory. And I remember the cinder block room. I remember the metal table. I remember the plexiglass in the middle. I remember my mom. I remember my dad looking at me, smiling and waving. I remember that. I don't have like an X-Man photographic memory, but I do have a pretty still type memory on some things.
Yeah. Well, color me impressed.
Oh, thank you. I'm not done with my Mardi Gras
Oh,
stories.
there's more.
Yeah, there's
Let me hear
more.
more.
They throw out the toys and the necklaces. They also throw out in Mobile, it's a tradition, moon pies, like
Okay.
specifically moon pies, and they throw out boxes of them. We have boxes of them in my pantry right now, and we're gluten free. We can't eat them, but me and Caleb will still munch on them. They throw out boxes of moon pies, ramen noodles, these big stuffed animals. Ashley got do now see this is where my memory is not photographic, but it's like a fancy purse. Brooks and Dooney and Burke purse, which we looked up. It's like a $300 purse, still in its plastic wrapper, and inside it had the business cards of a realtor.
Oh
Like
wow.
some realtor got this purse and tossed it to Ashley during the parade. I was like, hey, we're calling her. When
No doubt I'll have to keep that in mind.
yeah, get yourself a Dooney and Burke purse. There were bottles of alcohol. I heard about that at the first parade, but at the second parade I went to, I saw bottles of alcohol getting thrown. The first parade I went to was put on by the city. The second parade I went to, I was invited to, and it was in a more urban part of town, and it was awesome. I mean, it was lit. As soon as we got there, the streets, it was in a neighborhood, so it's like kind of like Oaklawn. Imagine like there is no place to park. When I got there, I pulled up behind some floats, and I'm thinking, "Oh, we can't park here." And some lady came out and said, "Hey, what you trying to do here?" I said, "We're trying to watch the
Trying to be in the
parade."
parade.
She was like, "Oh, we can come here and park behind my house." So she like maneuvered me through the floats and put me on this little dirt road that went behind her house. And I got there, I was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you. Do I owe you anything?" She was like, "No, no. You thirsty? You want something to eat?" I'm like, "What do you got?" And she's like, "We got some water, Kool-Aid, some pops and sodas back here. You want drink some liquor?" I'm like, "No, I'm all right." Gave us drinks. They had chicken and fish fries and everything going on at this house, and there was people everywhere,
Just complete strangers.
complete strangers, just welcomed us in. And the guy who owned the property we were staying at was a retired reverend, a retired minister. His daughter is the one who ushered us in there,
Okay.
and he was like, "You go to a church around here?" I was like, I'm always shopping for a church. Why, do you know one?" And he was like, Macedonia Baptist Church, First Macedonia Baptist Church here on the corner, right here. Tell him Reverend Jackson's the one who's the main reverend there. Tell him Reverend False sent you. And I was like, okay. He's like, when you walk in, you might feel a little out of place, but just walk in like you own the place and you'll be good. If anyone asks, tell them Reverend Fall sent you. I'm like, okay, bet. Um, so we stayed there, got like a little meal before the parade. We left their house and like walked down on the to the street during the parade, and we saw another house. There was folks sitting on the driveway, and we brought some folding chairs. We're like, hey, can we put these folding chairs here? They're like, oh yeah, go ahead, sit, honey. We sat down there. There was a skunky smell in the air everywhere you went. So I felt, okay, they were smoking some herb. Or I don't partake anymore, but it's a welcoming smell. Um, there were cops everywhere who were doing a good job. They were just there for like crowd control to keep kids off the streets. They didn't do a very good job at that. But whenever the floats came by, it was just people in like their fancy cars. People in their fancy cars, they could tell they got a wax job before then, and like they were towing. Someone rented a U-Haul trailer, like a flatbed U-Haul trailer, and put those the confetti, those plastic like streamers all around the side, and they were standing up there. Everyone was playing music out their car window.
Now, did you already say? I don't know if you did or not. What's the purpose of what's it celebrating?
Oh, well, I mean, it goes back to getting your sinning out of the way before Lent, before the season of Lent. But Fat Tuesday is the big Mardi Gras. Is like the Mardi Gras holiday to end Mardi Gras season is on Fat Tuesday before Lent. So, I mean, it's really just a time, I guess, traditionally to party before the season of Lent. But these people come here, and I talk to them like they come here to get groceries. Like kids will get, like I said, they're throwing out bags of food. They're throwing out boxes and bags of food. People are coming here to get food, to get some drinks, and to party. Party with
Okay.
their neighbors, party with whoever. It's just like I said, the schools take off here. It is a holiday.
Yeah.
It's sacred here. There were people dancing in the street. Uh, yeah, it was awesome. And yeah, there you like the parade went down the corner and made a bend, and then they always turn around and come back. They say you want to stay there for the second time to get the big stuff. But we brought a pull wagon and some like TJ Maxx shopping bags, the shopping bags you can keep. We brought two of them, filled up the wagon, filled up these shopping bags with toys, moon pie cookies, purses, all kinds of stuff, beads. We have so many of these beads. We're gonna have to get rid of them. Um, we filled it up, and they're like, we started to leave to go back to where we were, and they're like, "Oh no, you got to stay. They're coming back." And I'm like, "I can't take anymore." So we did go back to the house party where we started, and we stayed there till the parade came back, and we ate more food, drank, and chilled out with these people. Got to know everyone. They're
That's
like,
cool.
she was like, when you come back, or no, when you go to that church, tell them your auntie sent you. It was the Reverend's daughter. She was like, telling your auntie sent you. I was like, okay.
So, big question: where'd you go to church this morning?
I didn't. I didn't go to
Yeah,
church. I
man,
know.
come on.
I begged my family, but it was I guess a normal early service. It was like an 8:30 church service, so we planned on leaving the house by like 8. I really wanted to leave the house at like 7:45. We planned on leaving the house at 8, which meant that we were going to have to get up at 7, and just no one woke up. No one woke up at 7 on a Sunday.
Yeah.
So next time,
Yeah.
Macedonia Baptist Church.
Yep. We'll catch you next time.
Catch you next time.
So, are you going? Do you have more festivities in your future? More
Uh,
parades?
not
More
this, not
events?
this year.
You're done.
Not this year. I'm all Mardi Gras out. Even though I am my shirt, the shirt we got some shirts from Walmart in their little holiday section, where they do like Valentine's and whatever Christmas stuff. Well, the Walmarts here have a section dedicated to Mardi Gras during Mardi Gras season. So we went there and got some like $10, $15 Mardi Gras shirts.
Okay.
And the shirt I was wearing was King of Mardi Gras. The King of Mardi Gras was the shirt I was wearing there. I plan on going to some more, but I'm just all tuckered out.
Yeah.
I'm all Mardi Gras out. That was one thing. That was the big thing I've been doing. How has your break been? You get into anything?
Well, we got back from Colorado on Friday. It was a good time. Went snowboarding, and yeah, took Margaret and Silas and Margaret's boyfriend.
Yeah.
He didn't
Okay.
snowboard; he skied, and so I intend to kind of hold that against him for
For some
probably the
time.
rest, probably the rest of his life. But it was a lot of fun.
Remember that
Um,
time I took you specifically to snowboarding?
right, and you opted for skis. Um, but here's one of my many problems. Okay,
Okay.
I'm a very patient guy. At least I think I'm very patient. But there are some things, some behaviors that just it just
You
gets under
cannot
my. I
allow.
can't shake. Like it just
Yeah.
cuts me at my core.
Yeah.
And so let me just say that I feel like I'm I feel like I'm pretty intermediate for a snowboarder,
Okay.
or certainly for somebody that grew up in Kansas. That
But you've
didn't
been
grow
doing
up.
it for a while.
Been doing it for a long time. I've been doing it since I was probably 14.
Okay.
Um, now that's like just going once a year, maybe every other year. So it's not like I'm not saying I'm good, but I'm pretty intermediate,
Yeah.
and I feel like my kids are pretty intermediate too. Like I'm proud of how well they do it. But there's it's the same. It's kind of the same thing with golf. It's the same thing, and I say this because I took my son to play golf with his buddies this past summer, and I need efficiency.
Yeah.
I need you to be ready to act. I need you to be ready to move. And there's gonna be times where you take a break. That's fine. I get that. But like when I was playing golf with with my son and his friends, I noticed this thing of like you've played golf before, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so when you tee off, you generally know what club you're going to use, right?
Yeah.
You,
I use
most
whatever one they tell me to. Yeah.
most people would tell you to use a driver.
Yeah.
So what would happen at every single tee box is the three of them would have a powwow, and then one of them would grab their driver. They would hit, come back, powwow. Another would go get their driver, come back, powwow, hit. Yeah, and so you can see what's going on. And
Uh-huh.
I'm just like my skin is crawling because I'm just like, why are you not at the tee box with your driver ready to hit? Like
Yeah.
we don't, and I'm not trying to be in a hurry. I'm just like, this is just wasted time. What are we doing? And so it was kind of the same thing with snowboarding, where we, and so what I was getting at when I was saying, that they're pretty intermediate. I'm quite a bit faster than them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been doing it their entire since before they were born, since I was their age. And so what would happen is I would zoom down maybe 100 yards, and then I would plop down and wait. Well, they would catch up to me, and then they would plop down and wait for something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I'd be like, all right, let's go. And they were just kind of wanting to chill on the mountain,
Yeah.
which is good. And I wish that the efficiency didn't get to me so bad. But it was just like, what are we doing? Why are we still? The only reason I'm here is because I'm waiting on you. What are you waiting on? Like, let's
So this
go.
this brings a couple questions to mind.
And,
And
and, and let me just real quick.
go
Let me throw
ahead. Go
something
ahead.
else. Something else that's important is I fall, I wipe out.
Yeah.
Okay, but when you do that, and most of the times, in fact, a lot of times I take videos because it's fun to watch. I'll wipe out on the video, and then just get back. Like I'll keep moving mid wipeout and stand back up and keep
Yeah.
going. Unless you're injured, there's
There's no
zero.
reason to stay there.
There's no reason to stop.
Yeah.
None. Just get up. Get up while you're falling. You can recover.
Whoa.
But they don't do that. they wreck, and then they just chill.
They're like,
They
oh,
just
time to chill.
hang out for a little bit, and so it's difficult for me. But the problem is that they're very gracious about, you can go ahead, like go
Like,
on.
go ahead. We're not waiting. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
you don't have to wait on us. But I don't want to go by myself. Like I did it a few times. I zoomed down the mountain, and that's fun. That's cool. But it's kind of, you're just by yourself.
Do you have to take a lift every time? Like when you go down to the bottom, you have to get on the lift to go back up? I
Yep.
mean, I guess you couldn't snowboard up the mountain.
Yeah, and it's about a the place we go is I love it because it's just so uncrowded. Like there was never a time, and if you watch videos of like Breckenridge or Winter Park or Vail or any of the major mountains, you'll have a 30 to 45, sometimes an hour long,
Yeah.
hour plus line to get on the lift.
Wow.
But at this place in Leadville, I'll bet there was never more than two people in front of me. It
Oh,
was
wow.
just, you just ski up, get on the lift, come right back down. And the lift is about, depending on how many times they have to stop it, 12 to 15 minutes to the top. Um, so yeah, you have to, it was taken about 45 minutes, I would say, from coming out of the lodge to go up, do a run. It would take about 45 minutes. And we would do a couple of those and then come back
So
and
getting out of the
watch it.
lodge and then to be at the bottom of the mountain takes 45 minutes.
Yeah,
Or
to go up and come back down.
okay.
But that's accounting for lots of stoppage time.
Okay. Do you think they were trying to give you a hint and you just didn't pick up on it? They're like, "Go ahead, Dad. You can go."
You know, I hadn't considered that. That's that's possible. That's possible. I
That
don't think so, but maybe.
hmm. Well, I mean, if I were an 18-year-old with my girlfriend, boyfriend there, my significant other, and my dad was with me, I would maybe try to get a little separation between my
Maybe
dad and I.
try to lose them.
Yeah, maybe try. Hey, go ahead. We'll
We'll
catch
be
back up.
we'll be fine. I don't know. I don't know. But it was a lot of fun. It was fun to see my kids do it, and like I said, they're pretty good. Uh,
Did you specifically explain this, like even at the golfing range or at the snowboarding range? Like, did you lay out your expectations and be like, "Hey, I don't want to be chilling. I don't want to wait with these powwows."
Um, yes and no. So with the golf, I told him I was like, listen, guys, you know what club you're going to use. There's no reason to have to go back to the cart to decide which club you're going to use. Decide that before you walk up, and then as soon as one person hits, they're going to get off, and the other person's going to go up. Because with golf, you do have an issue with you're going to hold up the play, and there's people
Yeah.
coming up and all that kind of stuff. Um, with snowboarding, there's really not like as long as you're not in the way, as long as you're not like in the middle of the well, even if you're in the middle of the run, that's fine too. But as long as you're not like blocking the path, it doesn't really matter. Nobody cares, except for me. I care because we're here to snowboard. We're not here to sit.
Right. I'm gathering that you did not actually.
So yeah, okay. So I was a little bit more passive aggressive with on the snowboarding,
Yeah.
and I regret that.
Okay.
I do regret that.
Okay. Well, that's big of you. That's big of you to acknowledge that.
Um, I was real scared that I was real nervous about the snow conditions because, like, when you were out there in was it over New Year's or Christmas?
Yeah, Christmas and New Year's. Yeah.
Like,
There was no snow.
no snow. Yeah. So and it was like 70 degrees or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was pretty warm out there. It was in the 40s most of the time. There in the mornings it would be colder, sub freezing, but in the afternoon it would get up to the 40s. Um, but there was just enough snow that you really there was when you're on the lift you could see some grass poking through and you could see some rocks here and there.
Oh
But
man.
but when you're on the snow, when you're on the run, it's it made zero difference.
Do they have the snow machines or do they bring snow machines out to pack it?
No, not at this one. It's all natural. And so on Wednesday afternoon overnight, we got about probably a little bit more than an inch of snow. So Thursday we had fresh snow, which was fun. It
Yeah.
was cool. Um, the um, the area out there is just really cool. I really
Yeah.
enjoy it. It was a good time.
My skiing experience, my skiing resume ends the time when I graduated high school. I have not skied at all since I graduated high school. The first time I've been on a ski mountain was when we went tubing. We went tubing in Colorado. That was the first time I had been back on a ski mountain since high school. I went on I think two, but I know for sure one um, trip with my church, which was also with the group home I was at. We went to West Virginia on that one, and in Gatlinburg we had a ski day with my senior class. My senior class went there, and both. Well, when I went with my church home, we spent the night in in the common area of the ski resort. We didn't have rooms. Like everyone brought a sleeping bag, and
Okay.
it was like a lock-in church style.
Okay.
We all slept on. It was supposed to be segregated, boys over here, girls over there, but we're teenagers.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, we just slept on the floor. On on the high school one, it was just a day trip, but we went there and like they gave us bibs to wear. You had to bring your own coat, but we got bibs from the place. We got all of our gear from the place. And yeah, that was it. In Gatlinburg, there might be, I think there's technically some diamonds or some blacks around there, but it was Appalachian Hills. It was not the Rockies.
Yeah.
It was
Do you
different.
remember? Do you remember the name of the place you went to, or where you went in West Virginia?
I want to say something green, like evergreen, or I don't know. No, I know I can't remember, but I want to say something green.
I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would remember it if I heard it. But I went snowboarding out there when I was
Yeah,
going to school. Yeah, it was pretty shitty. It wasn't. It wasn't good,
yeah.
but I did it.
West Virginia's got some big hills, some steep hills, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know, driving through there. One time, we were driving to Kansas from Virginia when there was a death in the family, and we had to make an emergency trip back to Kansas. And I was driving, like I drive as much as I can, and this was in our early days. Caleb was in a car seat. He was a little bitty baby. And I was sleeping in the middle of the night in the passenger seat, and I woke up to wham! Ashley, it was dark and it was on the side of a mountain. It was an unlit area, but a rock had fallen off the hill into the interstate.
Oh
And
shit.
in our Saturn view that we were driving at the
Oh.
time, the front right tire ate a dang basketball size boulder that had fallen off the mountain onto
Oh wow.
the road. So that destroyed that tire and rim. We had to wait for, and so we were just stuck. Like she got as much onto the shoulder as she could, but there wasn't much of a shoulder. It was like on a bend of a mountain. And so we got as much onto the shoulder as we could. I pulled Caleb out of the car seat and just covered him with blankets. And there were cars and semis whizzing by
Mm.
us. And it happened at night, and the tow truck didn't get there till the sun had come up. And so we were there for hours waiting, just these cars passing us. And we all had to ride in the cab of the tow truck. There was like me and Ashley, and I was holding the baby seat. And we
Yeah.
got it to a tire shop, got the rim and tire replaced, and we finished our trip back to Kansas. But ever since then, she doesn't drive on road trips when it's dark. When it's night out, she doesn't drive. If she has the option, she can, but when we're together, she doesn't drive when it's dark. And just in general, I try to do most of the driving. Not saying that I would have missed the boulder. It's just
Right.
it's just my
Right.
ego going like, hey, I got this.
Yeah. Well, there's something. Even if it's not like, even if you're not saying that you're a better driver, there's just the feeling of being in control. Like at least if I'm driving, I'm in control. So whatever happens,
It's my fault.
it's my fault.
Yeah, that's
Or
how I think of it.
or I can figure out a solution. Like whatever problem comes up, like I can figure out a solution. I don't have to worry about how somebody else might do it.
Yeah, exactly. I would have done this. I would have done that. Well, I guess what? I am doing it.
Yeah.
So that's how
Yeah.
we get around that.
How long are you able to drive? Like how
Oh, I
long of a
can.
trip can you do before you're like, eyes are getting heavy?
Yeah. Well, I have to get some good sleep. I've driven I've done many road trips on poor sleep, and that is never ideal. But if we were to drive from here to Kansas, which we do that trip often, it's 14 and a half hours with no stops. So it's normally like 16 hours from our house to Wichita. And I'll drive that straight. I'll drive that no problem.
Okay.
But I it's it's like 12 hours. Yeah, it's or maybe 10. It's 10 hours. No, 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 no. It's 8.5 hours from here to Little Rock. And so from here to Little Rock, my brother lives on the other side of Little Rock. I'll drive that straight, no problem. I have done this. I'll drive there, picked up my brother or done whatever, and in the same day turn around and drive back.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I've done that.
Have you ever been so tired that you like have dreams while you're driving?
Oh Lord, Lord,
Dude, is that not terrifying?
it's
I've
yeah.
I've done that way too many times.
Ugh, I don't remember going to the spot where I had dreams. Definitely not, definitely not with my family in the car, but I have like done a touch and go and like hit the rumble strip or maybe even go the other way and think like come out of it and think, Jesus Christ, Clayton, get it
Yeah.
together. Whack, whack,
And then you're
whack.
like super awake for 45 seconds.
Yeah, and then oh.
Yeah, where was I? That sucks though because even if you pull off, if you find a rest stop, you might you might get some level of like technically you're getting sleep, but you're not getting rest.
Oh no.
So it's kind of like I don't know. I guess it's better than trying to power through it. I guess.
The one of the most miserable drives I ever did, but it was a learning experience. I got I was in the Navy and I was in Virginia Beach. I bought a 92 Camaro and I love that thing. A big to me. It was a 5 liter V8 in it. I think it was a 305. It was stick shift and I wanted to drive that. I did drive it to Oklahoma City to see my mom and see my brother. And I was driving, I got off work from the Navy, so I was already tired, and I planned on driving through the night. It was a 24-hour drive from Virginia Beach to Oklahoma City. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this. And it's just me
After work.
after work. Yeah, I was a
So
young
we're
man.
talking a minimum of what 30
36.
some 30 some odd hours of being awake.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah, so I think I got to like Nashville area and I was just like, it was too many touch and goes. I was like, all right, Clayton. And this was July or the summer. I know it was summer because when I got to Nashville, it was just too many touch and goes. I found a rest stop. And ever since I was little, I've seen rest stops and thought to myself, oh, that's a more intelligent option than a hotel. Like, just rest at the rest stop. You don't need a hotel. Just rest where it says to rest.
Those are free.
Yeah, exactly. Those are free. Well, I got to the rest stop and it was in the middle of the night or maybe early morning, but I reclined my seat back in my 92 Camaro and it was just burning blazing hot. Like when I did go to sleep, I woke up and my clothes were soaked with sweat. So I
Yeah.
thought, okay, just crack a window, rolled it down, went back to sleep, woke up and there was mosquitoes in my ears, and in my eyelids. I was thinking, God bless America. Like okay, we're just gonna have to go. So I started to drive a little bit more and the sun was up now. The sun was in my eyes and I'm miserable, soaked with sweat. I have lumps all over me from the
Mosquito bites all over your
mosquitoes.
face.
I pull into, I want to say a 7-Eleven, but it was just like a normal convenience store gas station and I remember vividly, the brand was 357 and it was just like a half inch by half inch cube pill of caffeine, just pure unadulterated caffeine.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. And down one of them bad boys, probably with a Mountain Dew at the time. And Yeah, drove all the way down to Oklahoma City. I finished the trip.
Did you get like the tingly or anything or
Oh, well, I mean, I was real big into Metallica. I mean, always real big into Metallica. And I that's the first time I remember thinking, I don't know if Metallica is the best road trip music. Like, I don't know if heavy
oh
metal,
interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
is the best road trip. I think when I think road trip now, it's it's like maybe some country, some Grateful Dead. Honestly, for me, it's normally audiobooks or podcasts, but something slow and mellow. I want to keep me focused and level during Metallica is like when I'm doing my in town driving, when I'm going from here to
Okay.
the gas station or whatever.
Okay.
But that's the first time I remember thinking like I don't know if Metallica is the best road trip music. Maybe when you're
Do
getting
you
close to your destination.
do you when you're listening to your podcasts or audiobooks on a trip, do you share that with the family or do you put your AirPods on?
Well, if it's a book, they do pretty good. It depends what kind of book I'm listening to. Like last summer, we were driving to Wichita, and I was listening to a couple audiobooks about long hunters and fur trappers and like frontiersmen during the early 1800s. And it was narrated by Steve Rinella, who's a podcaster and an author. But it was easy to listen to. They didn't mind listening to that. A lot of the audiobooks I get that I listen to are like these weird philosophical or whatever theological books, and it either has the virtual voice, which I'm I don't like the virtual voice. I get it just for the information, but if it's the virtual voice, it automatically makes me cringe a little bit. Or some English guy is
Yeah,
narrating
it's
it.
all yeah. I'm
And I'm
not
like,
sure. I'm not sure what the virtual voice is.
oh, a lot of audiobooks, well, a lot of the free Audible audiobooks, it starts off with narrated by virtual
Okay.
voice, and even when you're scrolling through, you can see authored by and narrated by, and a
Okay.
lot of the free ones are narrated by virtual voice, and it can be either male or female. A lot of the times it's female, but it's monotone and a little robotic. Like,
Yeah.
and then they walked into the grocery store.
No,
I'm
I
like,
wouldn't be
oh.
able to. I wouldn't be able to do that.
I mean, it's a little bit better than that, but not much.
Yeah. I think I tried. I think I tried at least one podcast and I listened to the an audiobook for a little bit. Everybody had like everybody had headphones on, you know,
Uh-huh.
so um, I didn't mind playing it on the speakers, but sometimes I just, especially on a road trip, like I'll find myself just zoning out and like not really paying attention to the content.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'll just end up with music. But going back to road trip music, I think I think you got to go something kind of
Yes.
folky, country. You know, not too slow,
No.
uh, but also I agree. I think that the heavy metal is good for in town or when you're getting close.
Yes.
But when you still got hours to go, you
Yeah.
just need some good folk music.
Yeah. Let's ride the line a little bit.
If it talks about driving, if it talks about traveling, you know, talking about the road, all that kind of stuff, that's even better.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, I was about to sing a Garth Brooks song, but I don't want to get flagged because it'd be too close to the real thing. Um, I have been for probably, I don't know, for definitely for about 3 weeks now. I have been just ingesting, going back and re-listening to chapters and going back and rereading. I have the print and the Audible version, the paid for Audible version of Joseph Campbell, Hero with a Thousand Faces. And man, I just cannot get enough of this dang book. Every
Yeah.
time I'll read a chapter, I'm like, oh, that's it. I got it. I'll just start the next chapter. I'm like, there's more?
Okay. I'm gonna do the audiobook right now.
Okay, you have to because it's pretty well narrated. There's actually three different narrators in the Audible book, and which works out pretty well because Joseph Campbell will. like explain a mechanism or an archetype in of mythology or in like how that relates, and then there will be an italicized example, like an excerpt from the Genesis story or from whatever mythology, from Hinduism or some folk myth, and that will give an example of what he just explained. And then sometimes there's like another there's like Joseph Campbell is writing, then there's the italicized example, and then there's another like paragraph or couple paragraphs addressing what was just explained, or the example that was just given. Like in Kratos, in this example, he was the father of time, and how that's symbolic of, time.
Yeah. Are those are those written by Joseph Campbell also, or somebody else?
No, it's all Joseph Campbell. It's just the three different narrators separate the different types of writing that are in there.
Okay. Yeah, I just downloaded it. I'll
Oh,
I'll check it out.
you're in for a treat. Um, I'm in like I'm I'm redoing the last, I would say, quarter of the book right now, and he's saying the same thing all throughout it, and we talked about it a little bit last time with Marg, but it's how all mythologies are saying the same thing, and it's all work on the inside. But something he's really hammering home here that I think is gonna it we see I'm seeing it played out with the Epstein files debacle that's going on right now, and like the congressional judicial committees and Pam Boddy going to testify. What Joseph Campbell is talking about in this last section is about how the danger, and even the, not destruction, but like the neutering of these mythologies comes when you take it literal. Like whenever these literal, and also how truth is layered. There's like the surface truth, there's a deeper meaning behind that, and there's even a deeper meaning underneath that. And in all ways, like if you think about like a hunter-gatherer tribe 1,000 years ago, and they looked up at the stars and be like, oh look, that's the archer pointing toward the north, and God put him there. Yeah, you can think that the archer is a god that was up in the stars, or it's just something to explain how, something, a reference there. um this last section is really hammering home the keys and the keys of all these archetypes, and like the lessons to actually take away, and how like holy wars, and how teams and politics, and holy wars with religion, or with like, he doesn't use this language, but we would say religious trauma, or the hurt that comes from religion, is always, I would say often, but I think either always or almost always comes from literal inerrant word of God. Like, this is what the black and white says, so this is what came out of the Lord's mouth, or
Yeah.
the exact words that he put in man to do that. That's when, like I said, there's atrocities committed in the name of religion, but it's also when you lose the whole message. You lose the whole point.
Do you think that's because when you're forced to take it literal, you can no longer listen to your own sensitivities or your own, like, or
Right.
not even just your own, like you can't listen to somebody else pleading or begging or trying. You can't listen to reason because this is what the Bible says or the book.
Yeah.
This is the doctrine, regardless of the religion.
Right.
When you take it as infallible or inerrant or black and white, you have no room for anything
Yeah.
else.
There's even some like built-in um supremacy, like ethnic supremacy in these things when you take it literal. Like, oh, we're the children of God. That means everyone else, like we are the actual children of God. Everyone else is whatever word describes everyone else. Like,
Yep.
and literally, they're a little bit lower than us.
Yeah.
that comes from literal translation. And obviously what the stories, at least what you can gather from them, the helpful things is that we're all created by God and we're all the children, like man, as in mankind, is the children of God. And these are stories for humans, not just for these specific tribes.
Yeah. I saw saw podcast. I saw a TikTok this afternoon that was talking about the geography of religion,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to get these. I'm going to get the numbers wrong, but they're pretty close. It said that if you're born in the United States, you have a 70. I think it might have been 80, but I'll say a 70% likelihood of being a Christian.
Uh-huh.
If you're born in Pakistan, you have an 80% likelihood of being
Muslim.
Muslim. If
Uh-huh.
you're born in, I think it was Denmark or something like that, 90% chance you're going to be Catholic.
Oh, wow.
And it was, I mean, we know this, but it's interesting, isn't it, to think that if there's only one, if there's
Hmm.
only one right religion, how lucky did you get to be born where you got an 80% chance to win?
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks for the guy that has a 90% chance of being wrong,
Yeah.
but it's pretty fortunate for us.
And man, I know I heard growing up, but I imagine just from hearing your stories that you maybe even had a more militant version of this, but it was like almost like F them. Like if they were not in our club, if they weren't exactly in our club, then sorry, brother, you're going to hell. It makes no difference where you're at.
Well, yeah, there was a healthy balance of F them, too bad they're in the wrong spot, and guilt if you don't go and take it to them. And
Yes.
so, and I think we've talked about this at least with like in regards to like mission trips or whatever. There's this kind of built-in thing of, well, I 80%, likelihood of being right, white American, I'm going to go to these tribes or these unreached people and I'm going to show them how they ought to live.
Yeah.
I'm going to show them what they ought to believe, what they have to believe. Otherwise, F them. You're going to hell.
Yeah. And think about like just off how much geography plays a role in that. You're talking about in some of these places like Asia or the Middle East or and even Europe, over thousands of years, like more than 1,000 years of it built into their culture, their DNA, like the architecture reflects their beliefs.
Yeah.
So for you, white savior, to come in and tell them, hey, I know even your DNA is telling you different, but actually, I have the truth.
Yeah. I laugh because it reminds me of, I've talked about it before when I was a little kid, knocking on doors and just telling people they were going to hell. 8 years old, 10 years, whatever I was, far too young to be telling other people, grown people who have lived life and had their own experiences and thought things through. 10-year-old me telling them, actually, you're wrong.
Right.
Yeah, that's not what the Bible says.
Man. And that takes out the room. Like I feel like recently I've almost come full circle to using biblical references because that's my tradition is Christianity and I'm not fighting against it anymore. But I see it now with eyes with what I think right now is more educated, open eyes. Like the real beauty and the real message was there in the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Gospels and in the Old
yeah.
Testament.
Um,
So I'll come by and I'll give an example to like you or T on our chat group and be like, hey, you guys know that Christ had to die and confront heaven and hell in order for him to go back to heaven and then return to us to save it? Like, homie, that's the hero's journey.
that sounds like Joseph Campbell.
Yeah.
Um, I'm real excited about looking into. I've sent you a couple of videos from that guy. Did I send you the one about? I think I did about how modern Christianity is based on Paul's teaching and not
Yeah.
Jesus's teaching. He's got a couple of videos that talk about, and you've alluded to this before, but he's got a couple of videos that talk about what Christ was actually teaching
Yeah.
about being God, being at one with God, and Christ
Yeah.
consciousness, and all of that stuff. And really,
The
Paul is
kingdom
the
of God is
one.
in you. Yeah.
Yeah, and Paul is the one that brings in this blood. I mean, in the Old Testament, there was certainly a bloodthirsty, vengeful God,
Yeah.
but in Jesus's message, or in the New Testament, it wasn't until Paul came along and introduced that.
Christ died for you.
Yeah, and it's interesting. And I don't know. I'm not sure what his background is. And hopefully we'll have him on here sometime. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what his background is, so I don't know exactly how qualified he is to speak on it. But he's said some things that are interesting about the authors of the Gospels and the dates that they were written compared to the dates that Paul wrote his books, or at least the books we think that Paul wrote, and how some of the Gospels, some of the stories in the Gospels would have been written after Paul, and they would have been filled in, to fill in the blanks to make it mean something, something um, in line with his theology.
Yeah, of course. Well, and you think about it, Paul was a Pharisee, and even Paul said, like, I mean, this isn't it exactly, but I think he did say, I'm more Jew than the Jews. Like I was the I was the Pharisee, I was the teacher. He was there to persecute Christians, and so it kind of makes sense. I'm not saying it's right, or not justifying it, but it makes sense for Paul to view everything through that lens,
Mm-hmm.
through the lens of appeasing the bloodthirsty, uh, yeah, angry guy. That guy's TikTok channel is Real Good News, and he says his name is Paul. I don't know his last name, but he has hashtag Christ consciousness, which I think is awesome. I don't know what he means by that specifically. Hopefully, we get a chance to ask him about it. But the TikTok channel is Real Good News of that guy that you've been
Yeah,
sending.
yeah. I've definitely been enjoying listening to his stuff. Um, I want to change gears just a second,
For
if you're
sure.
down for that.
Yeah.
You mentioned Epstein, the
Yeah.
list, right? And I'm kind of disappointed in myself because I really wanted to start this episode off by asking you how the Dow was doing,
How
because that's gonna
about
be
now?
that's gonna be my response whenever my life is falling apart, whenever things are going to shit. I'm gonna be like,
The
Dow's up
Dow
40
is over
points.
50,000.
Are you? Yeah. Are we having this conversation? Have you looked at the stock market?
What does that have to do with it?
I mean, I can't buy groceries, but the market is going bananas. Like, what else even matters? Not pedophiles, not holding people accountable, or holding our leaders accountable, or protecting victims.
Yeah, not exposing the fact that multiple leaders in the executive branch have lied and like
Yeah,
publicly under oath. Not
I'm worried
exposing that.
about the Dow.
That's what we should be talking about.
Yes, unemployment is all time low. I don't know if this is true. Whatever bullshit they're saying, but what's the connection between that and the hero thousand with 1,000 faces?
Oh, well, the the very disappointing, and I don't think these people are beyond love. Like I still absolutely love, and I still even respect as far as like I think they're not irredeemable, but a lot of people probably listening to this have people in their lives that are still steadfastly standing behind no offense to anyone
Oh, I know
steadfast.
they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steadfastly standing behind Trump and even Pam Bondi and Cash Patel. Like, I get it. I mean, I understand if you're still on Team MAGA and your identity's so tied into it that you can't throw Trump himself under a bus. But you have to see that Pam Bondi is lying straight through her teeth, and Cash Patel lied in front of Congress under oath, and Kristi Noem and all these people are just, and no, not even that. They accept no room. They're like, actually, I think she's doing a good job. And she sticks to her guns. She's brave and stands up to these libtards. You're like, really?
I see it all the time, but I don't get it. I don't
And
understand it.
so that mentality is the same mentality that does not let you look at your religion or your mythology with a critical eye. Does not let you because because you took your theology literally, your whole identity is tied into it. If it's not true and inerrant, infallible word of God, then that shakes the very foundations of my being.
Yeah.
That same thing is tied into because they have 16 years now of standing behind and rooting for and trumping everything that Trump does, and even the people that he appoints, to where if they say anything wrong, like honestly, obviously they're not protecting pedophiles, because if they were, my whole identity would fall apart, and then everything I know is wrong, and we can't allow that. That's like
Yeah.
we were talking about a couple weeks ago of you asked why it's so scary for people to acknowledge that Satan and the demons and the monsters are in ourselves, like the real battles we have to fight are in ourselves. And it's for the same exact reason, because what's behind that door is so scary. What's behind that door shakes and literally breaks my whole identity, to where we're just going to pretend like that door doesn't even exist. And if you address that door, you're possessed with demons. That's a lie. The liar is in you.
Hmm.
And so that's why these people, I mean, it is a cult. It is a religion. It is a religion to these people, to where you cannot question that, because if you do, you're questioning God himself. This man is anointed by God. Are you saying God makes mistakes? God don't make mistakes, brother. And if God put him there, God knows.
Yeah. Um, so what do you think? I saw that they released, maybe they released the whole 6 pages of names, but as I'm looking through there, you see names. Rokon was on there. Is
Yeah. Ro
Con,
Kana.
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 Thomas Massey's on there, and so then it looks like, well, are these just names
They're
that are in
enemies.
any way affiliated? Like, and this is something that we talked about before. When and if we ever finally do get the full report, how do you believe it? Because it's been fucked with for so long.
So officially, as of today, as of February 15th, 2026, there was a report that was published today from Todd Blanche, the assistant director of the Department of Justice, but Pam Bondi's name was also at the bottom of it. That is called the EFTA, which I don't know what EFTA stands for, but it was the final report. And basically, after Pam Bondi got grilled, she got destroyed in front of the House Judiciary Committee. Today, they just came out with this report that had all the names on it. And in the report, they said there's not going to be any other reports coming out. There's not going to be any other documents. Like, you guys already got everything. This is what you got. With like, case closed. That came out today.
Okay.
And yeah, so we're not going to get any more. At least that's their stance right now, which is in violation of the
Are
congressional law that was passed
they're
in
saying
November.
they're saying there is no more, or we're not going to get any more?
They said they're done releasing it. That everything that's to be seen is already out there.
Okay.
That's the EFTA. Bondi testified February the 11th at the House Judiciary Committee, and she got raked over the coals by mostly Democrats, but Thomas Massey really put the screws to her. Uh, most of the Republicans there were just silent. And if they did ask her anything, it was snowball questions like, "How's the economy doing? You guys are doing a bang up job."
Are there were actual members of Congress that were making comments like that?
Oh, well, I don't know if they asked how the committee's doing, but yeah, there were like,
Like, no, there were people that were saying, "Hey, you're doing the good
oh
job. Keep
yeah,
it up."
oh yeah, yeah. That, I mean, that is an example of your aunt or your sister, even, or your brother, that's saying, they can't do anything wrong. She's doing a kick-ass job. Like, that's
Man.
an a recorded, now on document, Thomas Massey keeps saying this, and I think it's true, is history is not going to be kind to your, he's saying this to Pam Bondi and to other members of this team. Like, history is not going to be kind to your team in this, your side of this debate.
Yeah.
Um, this lady, Pam J. Paul, I believe, or Jayapal, Jayapal.
Yeah.
She's a representative from Washington. She's the lady who brought in the victims, like the public victims of Epstein and his human trafficking and sex blackmail operation. And they were sitting there at the judiciary meeting, and she asked him to stand up. She said, "Raise your hand if you've reached out to the Department of Justice or the FBI with information to bring to this case." They all raised their hand. They said, "Yes, I have information to bring." And she said, "Raise your hand if the FBI or the Department of Justice has contacted you to take this information." And they all lowered their hands. So the FBI, or according to them, and this, I mean, like I said, whatever. This is an official meeting, so it's there. I don't know if they were under oath, but Pam Bondi definitely was. And then she said, "Raise your hand if even now you're still willing to give testimony and to give evidence in this case." They all raised their hand again. Like, they have information. These are the public facing victims. They have information to bring. They contacted, these are the people who say they've contacted the FBI and the Department of Justice saying, "Hey, I'm a victim. I'll gladly give you my statement." The FBI and Department of Justice said, "Nah, we're good. We don't need it." And even still, they're saying, "We'll still give you our testimony. We'll still give you the evidence." And then she asked Pam Bondi to look back and to just look at them and acknowledge them. And she asked them to she asked Pam Bondi to apologize to her. Well, Pam Bondi got this truly demonic, like stone cold smirk, and her eyes are just dark and with these red circles. And she was just staring at the members of the committee. She wouldn't even look back and acknowledge these victims, like not even turning her head.
I
Um,
mean, you gotta just like your aunt or whoever, you know, that their politics is their religion. They can't admit they're wrong. You got to imagine people like her and Cash Patel and Dan Bongino and really the whole crew. Like at this point, if they acknowledge that they lied, or like I don't know what their options are at this point. The obviously the best option is to say, you know what, fuck this. Here's the truth.
the truth is always the best.
Regardless of what happens to me or what happens to this administration or whatever, this is the truth.
Yeah.
That's the best. That's what should happen. But like, I mean, I don't know how they change tunes at this stage of the game without really setting themselves up for probably charges. Honestly,
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know how I've heard it stated that it's a felony, but I don't know federal code or law really at all to speak on it. Truth would always be the best outcome, but these folks have, like, I think exactly what you're saying is they've dug themselves into a hole to where now, which I still think they should do this. I still think they should come out with the truth and be like, "You know what? I was wrong. You don't even have to say the reasons, but it was for this or that. This is the truth. The truth that is X, Y, and Z. It is, they should still come up, but they've dug themselves into a hole. Like now, what you're saying, that if they admitted they were lying, they've done so under oath. They've done
mm-hmm.
so as
Yeah.
they've perjured themselves.
Mm-hmm.
There was a guy there, Ted Lieu, who's a representative from California, a Democrat, who asked specifically about Donald Trump. So, has the Department of Justice redacted or covered up any evidence that would implicate Donald Trump in a crime? And she was like, "No." And he goes, "Okay, I think you just lied under oath. I think you just perjured yourself." And she goes, "Don't you ever accuse me of a crime." And he goes, "I'm showing the evidence." And he pulled up a letter from the Epstein files, like from the release documents, that was an email with Trump saying, you have to say that I was never there. Whatever happened, you have to take my name out of this. You have to remove me from all of these documents. That was a correspondence between Donald Trump and someone in this Epstein investigation. And he was like, here's evidence that came from the Department of Justice that says Donald Trump is at least implicated in these criminal acts. And she was silent the whole time. She was like, next question.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, not it's literally in black and white in front of faces. Like these people that you've made into deities aren't perfect.
Yeah.
And that's the least way of saying it. They're not actual
Yeah.
deities.
Not just not perfect, but man,
They're involved
that
with the worst people.
the stuff, the stuff that's in there, um, is just. I mean, it's just sickening. It
Yeah.
really, really is sickening. And again, I struggle with trying to decipher whether this is a legit, whether it's a genuine document or not. Um, but
Well,
you
it
read,
hasn't been investigated. They've done no legwork to showing you because just the evidence on itself is not an admission of guilt or is not a statement of guilt. Like just because Donald Trump's name,
yeah,
like just Epstein could have sent an email saying, "Hey, me and Donald Trump were just drinking the blood of babies." That doesn't mean that actually happened. But what this is absolutely proving is that they not only failed to investigate, they refused to investigate it, they also covered it up.
yeah,
Like they hid the evidence that he was even possibly implicated in these crimes.
yeah. But yeah, you see stuff about babies,
Yeah,
and you see stuff about 9 year olds, and you see, and
the worst.
it's mind blowing, and it really is sickening.
Yeah, I've gone. I'm not going back. Or I was going to say I'm going back and forth on this. I'm not going back on it, but I've definitely arrived to a place when I was a younger man, and I've I've always come up in like these type A environments, whether it was like the group poem with every boy trying to be the toughest boy, or the military, or the law enforcement afterwards. I've always heard things like, "Oh, feed him to the wood chipper." Like anyone who commits one of these crimes, there's no redemption for it. And I don't agree with that. But I mean, I have said things like that in the past. That is, I mean, I have
Yeah,
absolutely said that and maybe even believed it in the past. But where I'm at now is I still think there's room for redemption and forgiveness, or at least penance in some way. I still think that like there is a redemptive quality to every human soul. But that is still true. But now when you're actively working to continue the crime, like you're
hmm,
still protecting these people, and not only are you protecting the people, you're damning the victims.
yeah,
Like I get there's a time to acknowledge your faults and to do your penance. That is true. But you can't do that whenever you're still damning the victims.
yeah. You can't do that while you're still doing that's the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what we're seeing now. And
What about I've seen some 9/11 stuff in there too. Have you seen any of that or
no, I haven't.
I saw a post about oh, I don't remember what it was. I don't know enough about it to really bring it up, but I saw that there was some conversation that made 9/11 seem a little bit less black and white.
Yeah,
Some conversations that made um, COVID maybe seem not so black and white.
yeah.
There's just a lot. There's a lot at play in these emails in these files that really I think at this point if at this point if you don't recognize that most of what we believe is just bullshit, it's
Bullshit.
just total and complete lies and a power grab, or at least if not a power grab, um, designed to keep certain people in power, then I mean I don't know what to tell you.
Now, see, this is exactly why I think it's so healthy to look at your religion with a questioning eye. Like to actually, because for most people, like you say, 70 to 80% of Americans is there's a 70 to 80% chance that you're born into a Christian in some way, a Christian household. Um, it's so important to look at that because if you can look at your most foundational part of your identity, which, in our cases was religion, your theology, and break that barrier and actually start to question these, untouchable things, these holy cows, then you can start to apply that toward all of the information that you're given. Because if you just believe whole hog whatever someone tells you, then you're being foolish. I don't want to say you're a fool, but you're being foolish. Like to just believe the World Health Organization at everything they say is foolish. To just believe whatever the government says because it's your team in there this time, that's foolish. You have to know that these are imperfect people, and now it's pretty black and white evidence that there's at least some nefarious intentions and motives behind everything. The
Mm-hmm.
media, the politicians themselves, their talking points, the pharmaceutical companies, these captured industries, they don't necessarily have your best interest in mind.
Mm-hmm.
They want power, and whatever that power is to them, whether it's pleasing their board of executives, their shareholders, whether it's keeping another term, whether it's influencing the world in this way or that. That's their real goal. Their goal is not to give you the healthiest food. Their goal is not to give you the most affordable health care. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's absolutely what they're saying. But to just buy that whole hog is foolish. And I think the best place to start is with your own theology. Because if you can, and that's not an easy task. In some
No,
ways,
it's it's a costly task.
it sure is.
Not I mean, yes, it's difficult, but it's also going to cost you something.
Yeah.
I was talking to a buddy yesterday, I think. Might have been the day before over text, and he said that he sometimes misses the simplicity before he started questioning things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I feel that. Like I really I miss that. And
Yeah.
not to the extent that I'm willing to go back, but I look back and like for me Sunday night church, for whatever reason, I always loved Sunday night church. It
Yeah.
was more relaxed. It was usually, I just I remember, you would look out the windows, it would be dark. It was just a different
Yeah.
vibe, different songs. It was comforting.
Uh-huh.
Like I remember, I can think back to going back to Sunday night church and just I feel at peace.
Yeah.
But you can't unsee what you've seen, and you can't
No.
go back once you know. But man, I miss that simplicity of just being able to just believe, to just
Yeah.
trust whatever was put in front of me. And I mean, obviously, the better option is to have the truth,
Yeah.
but it's going to cost you.
Now, I think in the hero's journey, and even in this, there's the hero's journey is just a blueprint of the psyche with the archetypes as an explanation as the narrators. But in order to go into the dark woods to fight the monster, the hero has to come back. He has to return to the waking world. Something what that looks like for me right now is going back to church, going back, re-examining the New Testament, re-examining these things because now I can go to church and maybe now I'm in a spot because I'm in a geographically new location, but I can see the meet new people and make these new connections, which I we agree is a good thing from church, like the societal benefits of church. But also I can hear these sermons and hear this message from the preacher who's given like the Sunday school version of this message to the congregation, but I can hear it now with the lesson that I learned from my journey. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. Jesus did come to save the sins of the world. It doesn't mean what you're saying. It means he gave me a blueprint on how to live more like him, which
Yeah,
is dying to sin or going to hell, defeating the fear of hell, death, where's your sting, or hell, where's your sting,
yeah.
saying that. Um, Now I'm in a position where I can come back to the land of the living and even step inside a church. And part of this that we've talked about, and it's not a one and done deal. I'm still always going to be going through this, but like even forgiving these hurts and forgiving the people. I had people at that church home, house parents, tell me I was possessed with demons and I had a spirit of rebellion because of this or that. That really affected me. Like
Yeah.
my whole life, I thought I was bad because they pointed it out.
This is something I was going to bring up 2 weeks ago with Josh and Prez, and I don't remember why, but it's interesting. You can get to a point where I am now. You can get to a point where intellectually you can acknowledge that you're not evil,
Yeah.
you're not wicked, you're not full of sin, you're not fully sinful, you're not all of these things, and you can acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a big difference between knowing it and
Mm-hmm.
feeling it, because when you, and I think this is one of the worst aspects of Christianity is when you're told at a young age or any age when you believe that you are fundamentally wrong and evil and
Yeah.
wicked. There's no real option other than self-hate.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really no room for grace or mercy or
Yeah.
anything toward yourself because you are fundamentally thoroughly wicked.
Yeah.
And that was probably one of the first, when we had talked a while back about kind of the first deconstruction, and I think that was one of my first steps was I quit believing in total depravity.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons for that is, total depravity teaches that all men, all mankind is born as wicked as they possibly, like filthy rags. You cannot get any more wicked than you are. Like you are bad.
Yeah.
And uh, there's a verse in First John, I think it might be Third John, where it says, "Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God. Everyone who loves is born of God and knows God."
Uh-huh.
And so you look at that, and then you say, well, no, because all humans are fundamentally wicked and flawed and evil. So what that must mean is it can't be talking about love as you know it. It must be talking about some other kind of love, because
Yeah.
we know that there are people who don't believe that love. And I used to make that argument that somebody, you might say,
You
well,
can't believe or you can't love if you're
yeah,
not.
you don't understand. You've got a fake idea of love. You've got a wrong idea of love because you can't love unless you know God.
Yeah. Which might still be true.
It,
That might
it probably is. Yeah, when you take it out of the machine, so to speak, when you look at it
yes.
at face value, and
Yeah.
actually when you look at it at face value, I believe that.
Yeah.
I do think it's true.
Yeah.
Let's love one another because love is of God. Love is
Yeah.
God. God is love. Everyone who loves is born of God and knows God,
That's
whether
right.
you know it or not, whether you
Yeah.
accept it or not.
And when you love, I mean, just another way of saying that is when you love, you are having a relationship with God. Like me loving you is a way of me having a connection with God because when you love, there is God. There,
Mhm.
there is God. Yeah. What it's funny, I was talking to a friend about this today. He was talking about he's gone through like he's in a certain club and they reveal they have like traditions of revealing these deeper truths and like the meanings behind these mythologies, and he went through this, and I was like, hey, have you ever read Joseph Campbell? He talks about this and that. He was like, oh, I actually learned that when I went through this rite. And he was like, I tried to explain that to my mom, who's a Catholic, and she told me I was demonic. I'm like, isn't that funny? Like to explain a deeper relationship with God, God as you know it, changing, and to explain how love is actually a relationship with God. Some people see that and call it demonic.
Mhm.
Okay.
Um,
Okay, Cheryl.
Something else that I wanted to touch on. Man, I'm remembering all these things that I wanted to talk about.
Good.
Um, so, did you watch the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I sure did.
Did you watch the TPUSA halftime show?
No, I didn't even know that was happening until after. I didn't even know that was a thing until after the Super Bowl. I was like, what?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You didn't see the buildup or any of
No,
the
thank
media around
God.
that?
Thank
Yeah,
God.
dude, that
Thank the
thing.
risen Lord and Savior that I am out of that wheelhouse.
I'd been following that shit show for probably a month before the Super Bowl. You know, because there's artists are booked for it and they back out, whatever. Who's going to be on it? Kid Rock was leading the charge or whatever. Have you seen the video of the guy singing about? I just want to cut my grass. You never seen that? Like
No.
it's so. I honestly I thought it was an American Idol audition.
Okay.
It's this guy, this country guy, singing a song about how I just want to drink my beer and drive my truck and cut my grass and just live my life.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you talking about, bro? You can do those things. Nobody is stopping you
Nobody's
from doing
stopping you from
that.
doing that. Yeah.
There's no Democrats. There's no
There's not an evil cabal plotting against
no.
you.
You can't now. You can't drink your beer and drive your truck. You got to pick one of the
Says
two.
who?
uh, to an extent, up to a
Yeah.
point. Um, but yeah, it was as much of a disaster as I expected it to be. But and this is wild to me. Just like so with the Super Bowl halftime show, uh, there are people that you can determine their politics
Yeah.
based on which halftime show they liked.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know. I
Is
guess that's nothing new, but it's like I mean the real halftime show kind of sucked too. Like I wanted to
yeah.
like it, but it kind of
Exactly.
sucked. Like what are you wearing,
Exactly.
dude? Like what's
You
happening
can't
here?
do anything in English. Like, I get it. I know Spanish is a second language to America. I get that part.
No
But you can't.
problem with that.
Yeah.
No problem. But I didn't understand any of what was going on,
Yeah.
which is okay. It's not for me. That's fine.
Exactly. Exactly.
But like I didn't enjoy the mumbling. I didn't enjoy the music. I didn't enjoy any of it. Whatever. But you see on social media people who talk about how much they loved it. You can take it to the bank. You know what their political affiliation is.
Might as well have blue hair.
Obviously, if you're a big fan of the TPUSA halftime show, well, you know that.
Yeah.
But it's like, can we not just be honest? Can you not just have an honest assessment of something without your political side taking the front?
The answer is no. Not right now, most people.
It doesn't seem like it.
I read something on a social media post, but it was a truth that not a truth social, but what they said was true was that for everyone who's criticizing Bad Bunny because he's not American, or he's not really what they're saying is that he's not white whenever they say he's not American, because he's from Puerto Rico, and Puerto Rico is in America. So,
Yeah, but that's confusing.
okay.
That's I'll give somebody credit for not understanding that because I don't truly understand that relationship.
But did those people have the same problem with the Rolling Stones half halftime performance?
Why would they?
Because
They're white.
yeah, exactly. But they're not from America. What about Elton John or Rihanna? Rihanna. That none of these people, they're all halftime Super Bowl performers. Did they have the same outrage over them? Eh,
I'm going to say no because I didn't hear about any of it.
Neither did I.
I honestly, I it didn't even cross my mind until right now.
Yeah, there's been multiple super time half bowl I said super time.
Super time.
Super time. Dun, dun. There's been multiple Super Bowl halftime performers that were not American. Why is it just now you're having this big that's your objection is, oh, he ain't American. Okay.
What
Well,
about what about Kid Rock leading the charge for the Faith and Freedom
yeah.
halftime show?
I mean, I don't, I still don't know. I still haven't seen his performance, but I saw him. addressing, I guess he had some technical malfunctions during his performance where it made it seem like he was singing over a track, like they're actually playing the track and he was running around and holding the
Made it seem
microphone.
like it.
Yeah. He says no, he was not singing on a track. There was just technical difficulties that made it seem like that.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah,
It,
sure.
it might seem like I did some crimes with Epstein, but it's just an error.
It's a Democrat hoax, actually.
It's a hoax. Don't pay any attention to that report or that
Are we
video
still
or that
talking about
photo.
this?
The Dow is up, brother.
Yeah. The Dow, that's what we should be talking about.
That's
The
right.
Dow.
Rent rates have gone down. What's your problem?
Oh, Lord. Man, and yeah, to think I heard this during the election, and we've been up, or I have been honest about this. I know you have too, but I don't want to speak for you. I did vote for Donald Trump in this past election because I thought he was a better alternative than Kamala Harris, which was just a continuation of the Joe Biden. I still understand why I did that, but I heard I back then I saw people say you traded your daughter's freedom for autonomy, talking about like abortion rights or whatever, over the price of gas. Like you think the price of gas is more important than your daughter's autonomy. Well, I thought that was kind of a stretch. But now I can see the argument like you traded, it's not laughing matter, but it's just, I laugh because of how insane it is. You traded someone protecting pedophiles and protecting manipulators of world governments and protecting these people who maybe injured babies and killed babies. You think you're trading that over the price of gas and the Dow? Like
Mhm.
that hurts. And I'll own it. I did, like I said, I just admitted I did vote for this administration. But damn, if I knew this was going to be the cost, I sure wouldn't have.
Yeah. Yeah. But at the same time, like I just, I think it goes back to what we've said, before that it's all the same. It's the same players wearing different jerseys.
Yep.
I don't I just have to think that if there's no way that anybody honestly thought that Kamala would be a good option.
Yeah.
So even there, you're like, well, there's something bigger at play here.
Yeah.
There's something other than it. It's not as black and white as it may seem.
Right.
And even to the extent of making it seem like they kind of were giving it away. Like maybe they were okay with Trump winning this one.
Yeah.
I don't know, because you almost have to be to have to have selected her as the candidate.
Yeah.
You have to know that you're going to lose against probably a baked potato. Like
Yeah.
there's no way that she's going to win. So what's the strategy here?
Yeah. Vote libertarian. That's what we should all do from now on, or vote at least third party or independent.
Yeah.
But
I was real happy the other day. We were talking about politics. Not really. Margaret was asking about politics, and she made the comment something to the effect of, "You're libertarian, right, Dad?" And I'm like, "That's right. Good
that's right,
job.
babe.
That's right. We're not Democrat or Republican around here."
And it really does seem like I know there's no perfect party, and I'm sure there's absolutely have been goofy people in the Libertarian Party, the official Libertarian Party. But damn, what's going on right now? Like Ron Paul and Rand Paul and Thomas Massey have maybe never looked as good as they do right now. Like the Libertarian political philosophy sure does look pretty good right now.
Yeah. So what you probably have to be on guard for, because I think that that's probably gonna, I think that it's gonna rise in popularity,
Yeah.
and you're gonna get some people that see the writing on the wall and they
Uh-huh.
jump on that gravy train, and then they
Bringing
portray
the
themselves as libertarian, but then they bring in the same old tricks.
mm-hmm.
So that's probably something that's gonna happen if it hasn't already.
Tim Dillon did a pretty good podcast. Not this last one. This last one was talking about Pam Bondi's Judiciary Committee performance, but his podcast before last, he was talking about how actually the secret weapon that might blow this whole thing wide open and even bring a level of justice and vindication would be the Clintons. Right now, the Clintons, Bill and Hillary, are in prime position. And there's actually something going on that is pointing toward this might happen. Uh, but we know that maybe no one on earth hates Donald Trump more than Hillary Clinton
Yeah.
because she was supposed to win that 2016 election. That
Right.
was supposed to be Hillary's. But old DT came in and robbed it from her. That was the first time she didn't give a concession. I think that was the first time there wasn't a concession speech, at least in modern history. That was the first time the person who lost didn't say, I accept my defeat and I lost in a fair and square election to my opponent. So no one hates Donald Trump more than her. Um, if she and they're both at the end of their political careers, definitely Bill Clinton. I think
He's
Hillary,
about the end of his life,
he's at the end of his life, which is I think
his
even
living
adds,
career.
yeah, that adds more potential for this to happen. I think if she acknowledges that she's at the end of her political career, they're in prime time to say, you know what, let's lay all the cards out here.
Didn't he say that?
Well, so there's something going on. The not in the House, but in the Senate, there's a Senate committee that's been subpoenaing the Clintons to come in and testify about their involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, and they denied their subpoena. They said, "No, we're not going to come in there." Well, they issued another one and had this big to do about saying, "No, the Clintons will come in here. This is a federal subpoena. They can't ignore it." Well, now they're saying, yes, we'll come in, but there has to be press there. It has to be an open hearing. There has to be cameras and press there for us to come in. Well, the Republican leaders of this Senate committee hearing is saying, oh, no, 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 we don't want the press to come in.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, now exactly what we just said could happen. It's kind of looking like they're pushing for. They say,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll come in and do this, but there has to be cameras. There has to be the press, so you can't manipulate the story afterwards. I want Bill to come in there and say, we ate the babies. Yes, we drank the blood. We raped the babies. We ate the babies. I'm so sorry.
Man,
I want
man, can you
Hillary to
imagine?
go, yes, and you were there. And you, yes, we did it. And you were there. Oof, I want that to happen. Lord, if you're hearing me. Wouldn't that, I mean, they are in the best. It's so wild to think that the arbiters of justice, the bearers of justice right now could be Bill and Hillary Clinton. They could be the ones to
I mean,
bring it all
they've been delivering justice for a while,
in one
allegedly.
form.
Allegedly.
Yeah. They some people might have been justly suicided here or
Yeah.
there.
All right. Here's our 10-minute warning. What else? What else is on your mind? What do we need to talk about?
Oh, nothing. I mean, life has been crazy. We've had I've been having a lot of funds. I've been having a lot of fun going through the podcast. I'm still part 2 of Tristan and Sage, Josh and Prez just dropped last week. And so I've been going through and finding all the like the clip worthy clips to bring out there. I'm trying not to superload our social media stream because I don't want it to shut us down because I'm putting too much on.
Right.
So like 3 a day and I'm only doing 5 days a week. I've been trying to do 3 clips. The problem with those 2 episodes, which was one recording, is that it's full of gold. Like
Yeah.
every 2 minutes, you're like, oh, there's another clip. Oh, there's another clip. Oh, there's another one. And so I'll get halfway through. Like, this is what happened. I got halfway through part 1 of pulling the clips out, and I had already filled up 2 weeks worth of calendar drops. I was thinking, oh, well, shucks, I can't pull any more out of this. Or if I do, it's going to have to be sometime later. Maybe I can pull them out and load it up. And now I'm doing that with part two. That's what I'm going to be doing this week is loading up the calendar of going through, and I've already got most of them already pulled, but going through there, and I ran into the same thing. So
Yeah.
like I skipped an hour of our conversation to jump to the part two to start pulling out the clips. I was like, oh, there's a good one. Oh, there's another
So
good one.
so really probably somebody ought to just listen to the whole thing
Yeah. You
or
know what?
both whole episodes.
Yeah. It's about I think an hour and 15 minutes each episode. Part one's about an hour and 15. Part two's maybe a little over, like an hour and 18. But yeah, go through and just listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, get it fresh. Um, I'm hoping to invest in a new computer here real soon that will give Margaret access to that she'll be able to chop up some jorts for us.
Some jorts, hell yeah.
Yep.
I got some things that I have to do here, like on the boring part of it, but I'm still waiting for some things to come back from the state so I can get the ball rolling. But as soon as that happens, I think the gates because we're primed with advertisers, I believe a couple at least that want to be part of this. As soon as that happens, I think that's gonna grease the wheels for that to happen, for at least to help with that.
Yep. Very cool.
But yeah, man, life's pretty rad. I think the moral of our story and our conversation is maybe A, to set clear expectations to your kids and say, hey, I want you to no,
Quit
I'm just
loafing.
quit loafing around.
It's not a
But
time to relax.
no, it's not. Um, Go out to a different part of the neighborhood and enjoy a parade here and there and to question, to really examine with a healthy mind your foundational beliefs, whether that's religion, politics, your media, your health, whatever. Question the experts. Question the
I like it.
authority. I think
I
that's
like
what
it.
we should do.
All right. Well,
Everybody be sure to go to the socials, like, heart, subscribe, share, do all the things. It really does help us when you get the word out. So not just liking, but also leave a comment and also share it. Share it with someone who might benefit from these conversations, which honestly is probably everyone.
or for sure. Or I said that with such confidence.
Yeah,
For
for
sure.
sure.
Duh. Or maybe share it with somebody that might disagree.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind getting some feedback and some conversation going.
Yeah, and you know what? I still do this where like someone will say something on social media and I don't want to engage in an argument like, "Oh, this isn't worth the calories of me going through this argument." But you could just send them a clip. Send them a clip or send them an episode. You know,
Yeah.
that might be a way. If you want to talk to us, that's through podcastlawless@gmail.com. And that's for advertising. That's also for Lawless Confessionals, Lawless Bible Study, or any other questions, comments, concerns you might have, suggestions, send us a line.
Yeah. If you got somebody that we need to talk to, maybe somebody that can set us straight,
I
I'm
do
down.
I don't have the book with me, but there is another author, a local author and a principal of an alternative learning center here in Mobile who wants to come on and be a guest of ours.
Sweet.
Yeah, we got things cooking.
All right. Well, everybody be good. We love you.
Everybody be good. Love you.
See ya.